everybody. Thanks for stopping by my channel. My name's Chuck, and I hope you'll enjoy this video. You saw the little bit of an introduction. There was a drawing there. So Keith Rucker, which I assume anybody that's looking at my channel, of course, is subscribed to Keith's channel. He's rebuilding the Stoker, steam Stoker motor, and I offered to build some parts if he needed some help to assist him with it. And so he sent me these two drawings. There's the one part, and there's the pins that go through the reamed hole there. To look at it, pretty simple build. Inch and 3/8 by inch and 3/8 square, and turn it and drill a hole and ream, and well, it turned out it was an interesting project for me. As you know, I'm a home shop hobbyist. Really enjoy machining, learning all the time, and this was a very good learning experience for me. And I did not video actual boom, boom, boom right through the project. There's lots of short snippets and photographs, and then I've gone ahead and tried to add some text on top of those, along with some voiceover. Some of the voiceover, for some reason, has echo. I hope you'll accept that, but that's where it's at. So we're going to have a little chat right here before we get on into the video. I got a list here. So I said it was a learning experience. And let's start with the fact that Keith has done a disassembly video, and I didn't go look at it to see where the parts were, what parts I was making. All I did was look at the sheet. Here's a couple snapshots of the parts that are coming out of the machine. Now you can see that the parts that I showed in the beginning of this video are different than what came out of the machine. Those are square, there's no round turnings on them, some of the detail. Keith doesn't know if they've been replaced or if this was we don't know, but this is what he wanted me to build to. I didn't talk to Keith. That was another mistake. I should have talked to Keith and really talked about the specifications. You see in the drawings that it says 3/4 inch. It doesn't give you any decimal. You don't know your plus or minus. So for me, as a hobbyist, I'm building something for a friend. If it says 3/4 inch, I'm going to make it 3/4 inch. And so I fought my way through that. So that was the start of the mistake. Second mistake was I've got this machinable plastic, and you'll see it. So Charlie, this guy Charlie around here, says, well, I'll make a blank, right? I'll make a blank and I can do any kind of practicing layout on this plastic. Well, do you think I make it inch and 3/8 by inch and 3/8? I made it close, but it took me 2 more minutes to make it spot on. So there's another mistake that you know, if you're going to do something, I have to do everything fast. I can't stop that. My next little mistake, I needed material. So my master car, well, the parts are 3 inches long, so Charlie orders 6 inches of material. Too cheap to buy the 1-foot bar, buy the 6-inch bar. Well, Charlie ordered a second 6-inch bar, so he paid shipping twice. We'll talk about some of the mistakes and why I had to build 2 or 4 parts total. Let's see, we're going to move on to that. So let me, I'm going to reposition the camera. I've got some parts that didn't go to Keith, and we'll talk about those and then get on to the video. Thanks for hanging on so far. Okay. Well, let's continue on. I've got my my list here. So this part is tapped for 5/8 course, and so this, as you can see, this part has been drilled and tapped. Well, as I was doing this, the tap handle was hitting the lathe bed, and I had to keep readjusting, and I got kind of tired of that and finished for the day and had one more to do. So I was talking to somebody and they said, hey, sometimes I use a ratchet with a socket. Yeah, so yeah, geez, I can do that. So what did I get? I got me a nice crooked hole when I got done tapping it. Pushed, you know, shoving only on one side, shoved the tap, screwed that one up. So this part was dunnage. This was one of the ones out of the first. This one's out of the second. We'll get to that discussion. So anyway, you can see that that's blued up, and there's some different, it's smaller than what it's supposed to be. You can see it right there. Well, this right here in the drawing, I didn't understand that's supposed to be a radius. So when I went to part 2, you can see the radius is there, that little hump. I put the radiuses in the second part. Why is this part still here if it's not a Keith's? Oh well, we'll talk about that. So anyway, I practiced on here. I ground a tool, got the radius worked out. So I got a part that I can do practice setups, since I didn't have this guy machined correctly, although you'll see that I used it. So drilled and tapped, screwed it up. Inside radiuses we talked about, and the radiuses, you'll see it in there, and you can see right here, basically I used a 1/8 inch drill to create the 16th inch radius, and then this was the last bit that had to be cleaned out after the walls were cleaned up. So you can see the walls are cleaned up. I never drilled and bored this one because it was already a dunnage piece, so it was a practice piece for setups to continue on. So this was out of part 2. Everything was going really nice, straight. This is complete. Everything's complete, except, let's see if it'll show up here. I never took a picture. The radius isn't correct. What happened is, on this part, as I cut the 3/8 radius, I went full depth. Didn't try to sneak up on it. The part bit down, and you can see what it did right there. It bit into the top. I tried to clean it up with a file. No bueno. I wasn't going to send it on to Keith, so this part stayed here. It's basically a complete part, other than it's got a funky side right here. Finishing up, you'll see that in the videos that I drilled used an end mill pilot hole down through all the way through, and then cleaned up and used a roughing mill to create the rough slot before I did the finished machining. Now I could have done it on the bandsaw, and where'd that part go? This one of these was done, I think this one might have been done on the bandsaw. My bandsaw has drift, and I wanted this slot to be right at 3/4. So I was a little nervous about trying to make sure that I didn't have the drift on the back side and didn't see it. So ended up, I didn't bandsaw these out. Would have been much quicker to just drill a hole right here, bandsaw to the hole, and then rough mill, and then final mill. But anyway, as I said, lots of learning on this, and that's the other discussion I wanted to hold before you go on into the video. Hope you enjoy, and thanks for stopping by the channel. I really appreciate it, and please support Keith Rucker in his endeavors that he's doing. Thanks again. Well, as they say, all jobs start with the bandsaw. Actually, the quarter rounding on this part occurred prior to the bandsaw. So I only did it on one 6-inch piece, not two pieces. Here is a still shot at the lathe where I have turned the part down to the inch and 3/8 round. Set up in the mill to cut the 3/8 radius. Notice the parallel setups. Notice the parallel setups. One-eighth-inch drilled holes were done to create the radius at the bottom of the slot. Hey, if you made it to the end of this video, I was just closing up and going to go in and produce the video. And I forgot the one thing I forgot to add about the learning experience stress. As I got closer and closer to finishing these parts, I did not want to build number 5 and 6. So that was an interesting part of learning the stress of this whole thing as I was moving on and getting stuff done. As a hobbyist, I can make lots of bozo mistakes, and there's my Howard trying to come see me. So we'll sign off with that. Come on up, Howie. You can say goodbye to everybody. Video's ended. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next video. Right? Huh? Good boy. You're a good boy. Can you sneeze for everybody? Can you sneeze? Come on, sneeze. Can you sneeze? Sneeze. 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 Come on. Sneeze. 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 Good boy. Sneeze. 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 Come on. Big sneeze. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yeah, you're such a good boy, huh? All right, let's go. He's learning.